Hey everyone, I'm Coach Greg, and in this video we're going to go over how long a strength training session should last. And we're going to go over it by example, so that it's easy to adjust it to your training plan if you're training without a trainer. I often hear that training should last 45, 50 minutes. This is not quite the right judgment, let's understand. Let's analyze not depending on your goals, whether it is powerlifting or bodybuilding, as well as other sports related to fitness. First of all, the time of training is influenced by its filling, what it consists of, or its volume. It is clear that the training of an athlete who wants to progress should include three main components. The first is a general warm-up. It is when the athlete warms up, brings himself into tone. The second is the main part of your workout. This is the main load. The third is warm-up and stretching. The mere fact that these components are present makes it clear that a workout cannot last 45 minutes. Let's break down all the components. The warm-up involves not a large portion of time. It's usually 10, 15 minutes. A good warm-up, in my understanding, is a certain complex of physical exercises, that is circular rotations of arms, legs, torso, in order to tone the body. After that can go low-intensity cardio for 5, 7 minutes. It will tone up your cardiovascular system. It is necessary to do low-intensity work, just to disperse blood to the muscles. If we count the joint warm-up and cardio, it is about 10 minutes. If we take a power athlete, let's say it's a power lifter, and for example his training starts with squats with a barbell, then I see obligatory to make a circle of exercise machines. Leg curls sitting, leg curls in a simulator on the back of the thigh, and exercises for the abs. Of course, to do it in a light mode that would prepare the muscles to work. That is, the warm-up includes several components at once. If we talk about the example of bench press, the same warm-up will also be appropriate, but to it, I would add a light dumbbell bench press sitting, as well as dumbbell swings to the sides. Everywhere 1, 2 approaches in easy mode. This will increase your useful energy expenditure. Useful energy expenditure is when an athlete spends time on warming up, gets a lot of benefit from it, but it is not a negative process during training. This I considered on the example of an athlete who has no limited time. Of course, if the athlete has a time limit, he should remove one of the items, but it should be understood, if a person has the need to approach the quality of training, he is likely to allocate the necessary time. And if you run ahead, the necessary time is in the range of 1.5 hours and more, again, within reasonable limits. Now let's talk about the main part of the workout. It usually includes 3 to 6 exercises, but it is worth remembering that there are individual cases where these values will not be suitable. Let's take the example of a power lifter. After warming up, there are such exercises: bench press, then bench press, dumbbell bench press, and barbell bench press. This is an example of a standard powerlifting workout. I will not tell here about what are the working weights and so on, as it is possible to understand the example without them. If you take an experienced athlete, then on such training will take a lot of time to get to the working weights. For example, in the steel pull athlete has a goal to do 180 kilograms for 5 repetitions. That would approach such a weight should start with smaller weights, for example. The first approach, 60 kilograms for 8 times. The second approach, 100 kilograms for 5 times. The third approach, 130 kilograms for 5 times. And only after that the athlete will go working approaches in total. If you take with warm-up, as well as with working weights, it will be 1 hour and maybe more. But this is taking into account that the plan is only heavy deadlift. The other exercises will take much less time. This training will take about 2, 5, or 2 hours. After training, it is advisable for an athlete to do some complex of general physical activity. If we take such a workout, I would advise to do vertical and horizontal pulling with increasing weights, and after that, to do a light stretching. Such training of an experienced athlete takes a little less than 3 hours. But this is taking into account that the athlete is quite experienced and he has extensive training. Depending on the training cycle, there may be a lighter version, then the training will take less time. At beginners, powerlifters training will take from 1.5 to 2 hours per training session, as the rest between approaches is less because of the lighter nature of the load. Underwater approaches are also less, as the absolute weights are not so large. That's it. Let's conclude. In this video, we have figured out how long the training should last on a theoretical and practical example. I think this topic is extremely easy and understandable. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments.